All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we are looking right now at reciprocal trig identities. Okay, so I'm just going to go right into these notes. The three basic trigonomic ratios have corresponding reciprocal identities. We've talked about cosine, sine, and tangent. And we've abbreviated them as the following. Cosine is COS, cos. Sine is abbreviated as SIN. And tangent is abbreviated as tan. Okay, so those are our three main ones that we've talked about, sine, cosine, and tangent. And now we have reciprocal identities. So the reciprocal identity for sine is cosecant. Is the reciprocal identity of sine. So this is our new, we have three more that we're going to learn. C-O-S-E-C-A-N-T. Cosecant. The reciprocal identity of cosine is secant. And the reciprocal identity of tangent is cotangent. So these are the three new ones that we are going to deal with. So sine is the ratio opposite over hypotenuse of an angle, and cosecant is hypotenuse over opposite of an angle. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. Secant is hypotenuse over adjacent. S-E-C, yep. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. Cotangent, C-O-T, is adjacent over opposite. Okay. This also means that cosecant is 1 over sine. Secant is 1 over cosine. And cotangent is 1 over tangent. Finally, because tangent is sine over cosine, this means that cotangent is cosine over sine. Cosine over sine. Okay, so now we're going to practice these. So when you're ready, go ahead and turn this over. I'm going to do the ones on the back. Okay, we have secant of 30. And we know that secant is the reciprocal of cosine. So secant is going to be 1 over the x value at 30 degrees. So we go to 30 degrees and we look up the x value, and it is square root 3 over 2. So we're going to have 1 over the square root 3 over 2. Now, we can't leave it like this. So remember, to divide by fractions, we flip it over. And 1 times 2 square root 3 is just 2 square root 3. Can't have a square root 3 on the bottom. So we multiply square root 3 on the top and the bottom. And we get 2 square root 3 over, what's 3 times 3, guys? And what's the square root of 9? 3. That's our answer. So if we've got 1 over square root 3 over 2, we flip the second one and we say 1 times 2 square root 3. Well, 1 times 2 square root 3 is just 2 square root 3. When we're dividing something, we flip the second one. Multiply. That's how we do multiplying fractions. Then we do the square root 3 times the top and the bottom. That gives me 2 square root 3, and 3 times 3 is 9. Square root of 3, 9 is 3. Okay. For number 2, I'm looking at a cotangent. Cotangent is, instead of y over x, it's x over y. So if I go to 45, my x is square root 2 over 2. My y is square root 2 over 2, so what's my answer? 1. Okay. Who remembers what cosecant is? If secant is 1 over x, cosecant is 1 over y. Okay. So, I'm looking at 330, and the y value is negative 1/2, so it's 1 over negative 1/2. So remember, we have a fraction. So when we have a fraction, we go 1 times negative 2 over 1, which gives us negative 2. Now we have another secant. Secant is 1 over x, okay? So 1 over the x value at 90 is 0. 1 over 0 gives us what? No. Undefined. We can't divide by 0. Can't divide by 0. How are we doing? We feeling okay about this? No. Not really? No. Okay. Let's do a couple more. Cotangent, remember, is x over y. So I take my unit circle. I go to 210. The x value is square root 3 over 2. The y value is negative 1/2. Oh, square root 3 over 2, excuse me. I don't know why I wrote 2 in there. That's a 3. So that gives me negative divided by negative is a positive, so I get square root 3 is my answer. Okay. Secant is 1 over what? 1 over x, so I go to 135. The x value for 135 is negative square root 2 over 2. When we divide by a fraction, what do? We flip it, yep. So we get 2 over negative square root 2. Excuse me. So then we have to multiply the top and bottom by square root 2. So we get 2 square root 2 over 2 times 2 is? Square root of 4 is? 2. Sorry. 2 divided by 2 is 1, right? Negative square root 2 is my answer. Okay. Number 7 is cosecant. Cosecant is 1 over what?
1.
Good. So I put a 1 down. I go to 150 degrees. The y value at 150 degrees is 1/2. So remember, when I'm dividing by a fraction, I flip it over, so I'm just going to get what as my answer? 2. Okay. Cotangent is what? X over y, right? So I'm going to get negative 1/2 over negative square root 3 over 2. So that's going to give me what? Should be at the bottom of your paper. Square root 3 over 3. Okay, why don't I give you guys a second and you try 9 and 10 on your own. I'll do mine too, and then we can check our answers. How you doing? Okay, so what'd you get for number 9? I got 1 over negative square root 2 over 2. So I flipped it, giving me 2 over negative square root 2 times the top and bottom by square root 2. That gave me 2 square root 2 over negative 2, which gave me negative square root 2. Number 10 was a lot easier. I got 1 over negative 1, which gave me negative 1. Okay, you've got homework to work on for this. You should be good.